Hey, what's going on, guys? Flatten here with a brand new video today. Today we're going to be talking about the Bounty Hunter and just how busted it actually is. Now, this was discovered pretty recently, so make sure to go ahead and check out LazyData, who gave me his permission to be able to cover this and shared it with all of you today. The proper links to find more on LazyData will be in the description, along with Quag as well. There will also be a community builds doc that will also be presented in the description as well, so you can check out a build video on how to maximize the Bounty Hunter in the way I'm about to explain it. So it was discovered that the Interplanetary Stalker skill and Bounty Hunter work together a little bit more than what we first knew and expected. This will make it so that the Bounty Hunter can maximize its actual damage and be better than the Cosmic Stalker in pretty much every situation that I can think of as of this time. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you guys the notes as to what I was given in a short form, and then we can go ahead and test it out and the numbers that I was able to gather with it. So the Bounty Hunter class mod maximizes the Interplanetary Stalker's skill versus all enemies, not just bosses. This is going to allow it to give it action skill damage and a special kind of corrosive damage, but it disables Interplanetary Stalker's movement speed. As you can see, there is a movement speed that is attached to the Interplanetary Stalker skill. This will be removed. It's right down at the bottom there, beast bonus. It makes it the Bounty Hunter class mod better in most scenarios, as I was describing earlier. It is the shorthand version of how to describe the Bounty Hunter and how it works. I should also mention that the corrosive damage that I mentioned, the special kind of corrosive damage, is a pre-add. So it's not just elemental damage that this is calculated. It's a fresh multiplier, which means that you get this form of corrosive damage, and then corrosive damage elemental will come kick in later. So it's essentially like getting it twice. That's how broken it is. Let's go ahead and go over a few notes that I wrote down and the math that I was able to find. The way that I did this was I just spec'd into Interplanetary Stalker skill by itself with no other things influencing damage for what I was doing. And I had a Bounty Hunter with action skill damage equipped, so I used that for the testing process as well. It does have most dangerous game, but I was specifically not killing a badass or stronger enemy, so that this skill never procced. I should probably mention that as well. So I did 3 different weapon tests on this in order to find out what happened. I did it with the Queen's Call first, because it seemed like the most easy. I got 194k without Interplanetary Stalker skill being spec'd, and without the Bounty Hunter being spec'd as well. Now, with Interplanetary Stalker spec'd, which means it's a stackable skill, so you can get it stacked 3 times, with 1 stack, I got 209k damage appearing. This is on a normal robot, not badass. With Interplanetary Stalker and Bounty Hunter still both equipped, I was seeing anywhere between a 212k low to a 219k high. And remember, this is without most dangerous game being procced. This is with 1 stack of Interplanetary Stalker, and this was also non-crit damage. So I tested it with the Lucian's Call just to make my life a little bit easier, because I sometimes got crits, and the unlisted projectiles sometimes fooled around with my Queen's Call interactions. So I decided to take it back a little bit even further, and I went to a Lucian's Call. So without everything, in tier 1, I was seeing anywhere between a 60 to 62k low. With Interplanetary Stalker, I was seeing a low of 79k and a high of 86k, massive increase from without. And then with the Bounty Hunter being equipped with 1 Interplanetary Stalker, I was seeing 91,000 to 97k damage with 1 and 1. I decided to take it back even further, and I went to the Wood Blocker, because the Wood Blocker had its crit damage removed recently on a recent patch, so even if I got a crit with it, it wasn't really going to be influencing much anyways. But just to make things easier, I avoided crits as much as possible. I was seeing a low of 60k and a high of 63k without anything influencing damage. 1 stack of Interplanetary Stalker was 77,000 to 85,000, and with Bounty Hunter and Interplanetary Stalker, 95,000 to a high of 113,000. So this is my numbers method that I ended up using with all 3 different guns. The ones that I was using were not doing any influence of damage. I made sure that Interplanetary Stalker was not procced, and the Chill Stack was not procced as well for the Lucian's Call, by the way. And also the Queen's Call was in here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and try to see if I could try to replicate any of those numbers for you, rather than just spouting math at you this entire time. So we're going to go ahead and start with the, probably the Queen's Call will probably be the easiest to showcase. So I have no other skills here. I have no shield to influence damage. As you saw my skill tree earlier, I just have Interplanetary Stalker Spect, and that is that. I don't even have a pet equipped, so the pet's not even going to interrupt any damage either. Let's go ahead and see what we can do. So I'm going to remove the Bounty Hunter, and we're going to also show our damage numbers. And let's go ahead and see what we can find. I'm going to try to shoot for, like, legs or something like that. Hopefully I can find a decent spot to hit. Alright, let's see. And I missed twice. Excellent. This was the hardest part about recording this, was not having any shield or any skill points this entire time. So without anything, 198k. Oh, that was a crit. Let's go ahead and find my notes again. Or not my notes. Let's go ahead and find my notepad again. Bounty Hunter testing. Yeah, so I was seeing anywhere between 194 and 198k. But that was without anything. That is consistent. Let's go ahead and stack up a Interplanetary Stalker now. So 194 to 198k without anything influencing damage. Let's go ahead and kill an enemy and then shoot the next enemy and see what we get off of it. Go ahead and kill this guy off. About to die. Now he's dead. $230k. That's a really high number. There's 194. That means that my Interplanetary Stalker is gone now. $209k. 209k. That's with one stack of Interplanetary Stalker. So we'll go ahead and die off here, and we'll do it again. And if you can see on my notes, 209k with one Interplanetary Stalker without Bounty Hunter. So both of these are accurate so far. Now let's go ahead and do it with one stack of Interplanetary Stalker and Bounty Hunter. So what I have to do is I have to equip the Bounty Hunter now. And to follow up, I have to kill one enemy, and then I have to shoot the next enemy in order to make sure that we have that sort of damage through. And if it is higher than the damages that I saw earlier, then that means that what we spouted earlier was correct. Let's just go ahead and kill him off. Okay, he's dead. We have a stack of Interplanetary Stalker. 212k. You can see the number there. If you look at my notes, just to line it up, I have a low of 212k. That's higher than 209k, which was the high I was seeing earlier with. So that is also accurate. It's nice to see. That is nice to see. Now it looks like we lost everything again. 194, 198. Shit, I missed. 230k. That's a lot higher than what I was seeing earlier. That's only with one stack, by the way. Probably gonna be dead here. 230k. So it seems like my high wasn't even accurate, unless I had two Interplanetary Stalker there. Either way, 212k was my low directly after one Interplanetary Stalker. I stacked up a second somewhere in there to revive the second time, so I was seeing anywhere between 218k and 230k in there with the second stack. Everything else I could totally do, but we're already at the 10-minute mark of the video, at least raw footage. I would love to do it, but I don't think I'll have enough time for it. However, with the Queen's Call, it seemed like everything there was accurate. Now, this is on a low scale. You gotta remember that this is without a shield, this is without skill points, this is without anything that's really like raising damage. So keep that in mind when using corrosive damage. In order to test this further, if you want to do any further tests yourself, you have to make sure that it has to be on an enemy that can take a status effect. I found that the hard way. It does not work on Handsome Jack's poster. That's the only reason why I was doing it on actual enemies. So keep that in mind when thinking about that. Otherwise, choose your favorite corrosive weapon, throw together a build, throw a bounty hunter on it, and see what you can come up with. The community build is going to be in the description like I mentioned earlier, so feel free to check that out if you want a little bit of a guidance. I'm planning on recreating this myself, so hopefully at some point in the future I can revisit this build and make it even, either make it even better or just make it my own version. Pretty excited for it. Anyways, that's all that I have for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching the Bounty Hunter Busted video. I will see you guys on the next one. My name is B Flatten, and I'm signing on out of here. Take care all. Laters.